most of us engage in a process of gradual progression to get to the position that we're at right now. Assalamu alaikum. So this morning I'm out driving, and on my way back from the gym, I'm behind a car that has an L sign. Over here in Canada, specifically in British Columbia, the way the driving system works is you don't just go and get your driver's license right away. You have to first get a learner's permit, and the learner's permit allows you to learn how to drive under the supervision of somebody who has a full driver's license. And to designate yourself on the street, just so that people know that this is a person who's just learning how to drive, we have this red magnetic sticker that gets put on the back of the car, and it has an L. So I'm driving and I see this SUV with an L, and of course driving really slowly, unsure of herself, when to turn, how fast to go, when to stop, how to cross intersections, all of these things. Now normally somebody driving just like that would get you frustrated, especially if you're trying to get somewhere, if you're in a rush for time. This didn't happen just once today for me, 3 times. I was driving a bit more than usual today, and 3 times, every time I'm driving around, for whatever reason, I don't know if the stars aligned for all the learners to come out today and to start driving. And so of course it gets frustrating. But as I'm driving behind them and just, trying to put myself in their shoes, and remember that there was a time when I learned how to drive. I wasn't born with a driver's license. There was a period of time, a long time ago, where I got behind the wheel and I didn't know what I was doing. And so I had to engage in all of these things where I'm unsure. Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? How should I touch the brake? How much force should I put on the brake pedal or the gas pedal? All of these things I'm trying to learn about. And so these people, and there were mostly young people that are going through this process, they're also engaging in this. And you can see as I'm driving beside them, as I pass them, I see this look of concern, this horror, as they're just behind the wheel, just so afraid that they don't want to do something bad that might kill somebody or kill themselves. And it got me thinking. There's a verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كَلَّا إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَيَطْغَى أَن رَآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. Nay, verily the human being transgresses, oppresses, becomes haughty the second the human being thinks that they've become self-sufficient. And there are ways to read this verse, multiple lessons to get from this verse. One of the lessons that I get from it personally is once you become proficient at something, once something becomes second nature to you and you engage in it day in and day out, most of us tend to forget, and that's really part of the reason why we're called insan in Arabic. مَا سُمِّيَ الْإِنسَانُ إِنسَانًا إِلَّا لِأَنَّهُ نَسِيَ. That the human being was not called an insan except because one of the reasons, one of the derived meanings from it is forgetful. We're forgetful. We forget that there was a period of time when we didn't know how to do something. And we learned and we toiled until we became proficient at it. What happens after we become proficient at it? We forget our initial state of bewilderment, our initial state of weakness, that I didn't know how to do this at some point. And so this is now a person who's at that stage which I was at. And when I was at that stage, I didn't want people to be frustrated with me and to be impatient with me. I wanted patience. I wanted care. I wanted encouragement so that I can engage in this task and master it. So the lesson I want to kind of give out, which is just a reminder to myself once again, is remember where you came from. We all have to remember that. Remember where you were at, especially from, take an Islamic lens on this, especially when it comes to religion. You might be at a place right now that is quite strong from a faith perspective. You're somebody who is able to engage in acts of worship and pick up ritualistic acts and pick up adherence to certain aspects of Islam that you had to work your way into it. You weren't born with all of these things right away. Very few and far between people that are born like that, where they just have this inclination right away. Most of us engage in a process of gradual progression to get to the position that we're at right now, to get to the spiritual level that we're at. Most people don't go into the gym and start lifting and doing 500-pound deadlifts or benching 315 or 405 right away. I'm talking in pounds here for the Brits out there, the metric people. So most people don't engage in that right away. They work up to it. And so when we meet people that are at the beginning stages, you have to, first of all, remember that the only reason you got to the position that you're in, aside from you exercising the free will that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, is it was the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave you the strength, that gave you the power to get to it gave you the intellect, gave you the means to get to the position that you're in. And you should not have impatience with people that are starting out. Just like you started out at a very primitive, a novice position, you were a newbie at some point. There are a lot of newbies out there, and we have to remember that for ourselves so that we are patient, we do not get frustrated. And when we're on the road and we have a person, it's like a metaphor for life. You have somebody who's learning how to drive. Same thing with everything else, including religion. People are still going through this learning process, and we're all in different stages, and we should not impose or expect a performance level that we're at from everybody else around us. That's why you should, on the day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to ask you about anybody else but yourself. And so, yeah, you want to encourage people, you want to teach people, you want to hope for the best for people and hope that they elevate, but you don't impose on people what you're feeling that they should be at, because you just don't know. You started off weak as well. Anyways, just a scattered thought. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you guys have been enjoying this content. I've changed the background a little bit and all of this stuff, and I'm adding more stuff to the channel. To show your support, the best thing you can do for me is to like the video and to share it with your friends and family and your social network, and just, tweet it and Facebook it and all of this good stuff. Those of you who are able to give some financial support in some kind to help me make some more videos, I've got a few projects that I'd like to get into. You can go to my Patreon page. The link for it is in the description box, or you can link right here. You can click right here for it, and you can help me out through that way. So anyways, I'll check you next time.